Next, get 4 small wires of different colors. For simplicity's sake, let's call them black, red, white, and orange. We need to do some soldering, okay? So basically the point of the soldering is to extend the USB charger and the battery cable so they can fit into the Wouse. Here this one is all done. Make sure that you hook them up in this order. The white one goes there. There's the orange one. And then the red one and the black one. These are on the same side as where the ribbon cable is facing. And make sure you connect them the correct way. You may not want to actually unsolder the wires on the battery. You might want to just splice them. It's probably a little bit easier. Whereas on the USB, you can solder directly to it, but make sure you get the order for the USB correct. So when it's facing this way, okay, you want to have the white one there and the orange one there, and that has to correspond to this side when the ribbon cable is facing towards you. Okay, so white, orange, white, orange. Now that we have all of our parts ready, let's build a Wouse. First, let's go over a parts list. First, you need 1 M2 6mm screws, 4 M2 10mm screws, and 5 M2 nuts. Then you also need 1 M1.6 12mm screw and 2 M1.6 nuts, and then 2 tension springs that are about 3 millimeters wide and about 1 centimeter tall. All of these parts are available on McMaster-Carr, so please refer to the parts list that's also included with this video when you build the Wouse. This is the brace, mouse button holder, 2 levers, 2 buttons, electronic assembly, and both sides of the case. Okay, so where do you start? The first thing you want to do is get 2 of the springs hooked into the main case. One in, the other. It might be easier to do it with the little pliers or something if you have bigger hands. It's up to you though. Next, let's do the mouse buttons. Push those all the way in as far as you can. And the old tape that was on there should stick to the bottom of the casing. This right here can bolt right on into the case after we put the little buttons in the case. Now take 2 of the M2 10mm screws and put them in these opposite holes. Tighten them down. Okay, now let's move back to where the spring assembly was. The brace. Let's put that onto the springs. Make sure the thick end here is clipped on to the top side of the Wouse, which is this side here. This flat side corresponds to the thick side of the brace. Click that into the spring. Now that the springs are in, it should look like this. The board can then be bolted in to the brace with the M2 6mm screw. Now you want to take the two levers and put them so the gear side is facing down and out. So this fits in like this, and the other is exactly the same. So it locks into place on the gears in the case. Then take the remaining two M2 screws, those are both 10mm, and then put them through these little holes on the side and then connect nuts to them and tighten them down. And now for the M1.6 screw. First put it only through the board. And put one nut on. Turn the nut so there's about 2mm of clearance between the head of the screw, the board, and the nut, like that. Now put it through that hole and connect the other M1.6 nut to the other side and tighten it down. So there is the basic concept of your Wouse. Next, you need to cut some of this double-sided foam tape so you can stick in the battery, the USB port, and the scroll button. It's 3 strips in place, then peel off the backing. Then the USB port goes in this way up. Stick on the battery. Make sure the battery is not touching the contacts of the USB port. And there it is. Snap it into this. One side. And then we take our other case, which is just empty. It's the right side. And you're done. You've built a Wouse. Now, if you have a rather large head, you might consider adding some of these shims to adjust the depth of the laser on the Wouse.